Hello, students. Let us take up the poem My Mother at 66. So, this poem is written by Kamla Das, and this poem is about mother daughter relationship. A time comes when your parents become visibly old and they need your help. And instead of them helping you, you need to help them. This poem is written in just one sentence and it expresses the feelings of the author, say, in a very short while. The feelings keep changing and there is a contrast of feelings. But the underlying feeling, after all, is a sense of pain which anyone faces when parting with any closed one. So, driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me, doze, open mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes. But after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, wan, pale, as a late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. But all I said was, "See you soon, Amma." All I did was smile and smile and smile. So, the author does not live with her mother. She has just visited her mother, and while way back to her own place, when her mother was with her to see her off at the airport, she looks at her mother who was sitting beside her in the car, and as the mother was dozing, doze means sleeping lightly, झपकी लेना. तो जब कार में बगल में माँ झपकी ले रही थी और उसका मुंह खुला हुआ था, her face ashen like that of a corpse. Ashen means मृत प्राय, जिसमें कोई जान ना हो, बेजान, एक मुर्दे की तरह बेजान चेहरा देखकर ऑथर को ये रियलाइज होता है, ऑथर को ये महसूस होता है कि उसकी माँ दरअसल उतनी बूढ़ी है जितनी कि वो दिखती है. She was as old as she looked. But the life is flowing fast. And in this busy life, she actually doesn't have time to plunge into this kind of sad feeling for long. So the next moment she distracts herself from this thought of her mother's old age and sickly condition, and she looks out of the car and she finds running trees and happy children coming out of their homes playing. But again, the fact that her mother was old cannot be changed. So, not very later, at a point when she has undergone the security check and she has to finally say goodbye to her mother, and both have to move on their own different ways, opposite ways, she once again looks at her mother and finds her wan, pale. And here the author compares her mother as a late winter's moon. And again, late winter's moon means something very dull, faint, not shining, not full of energy, not bright. When once again she feels the familiar ache, which actually was her childhood's fear as well. And that fear was naturally that one day her mother would go away. Her mother might die one day. But again, she cannot. The life doesn't allow one to continue with the same thing, same gloomy feelings. So she, at the end, while saying goodbye, what she says, see you soon, Amma. And what she does, in spite of having quite opposite feelings inside her about her mom, she just smiles and smiles. One thing to be noted is there are a few words. Doze means jhapki lena, to sleep lightly. And there are three more words, ashen, pale, and wan. And these three words are kind of synonyms. Ashen means very pale, with like when one is under shock, fear, or sick. Pale means jard, pila, safed, फीका. वन मीन्स भी किसी का रंग उड़ जाना. Exhausted, not excited, not bright, not happy, but dull. So these are the words used in this poem. So in nutshell, this poem is about a hard, difficult but real fact that everyone has to get old one day and everyone has to even die one day. But life cannot stop despite this fact. Old people will keep getting older, but young generation will keep growing and advancing. No matter what, you can't help it. So the contrast, momentary contrast of feeling just show that in some situations you have to move with life, keeping your feelings of sadness aside. There is no way out. In childhood, she was afraid she would be separated from her mother. Today also, when she is grown up, she is afraid she might get separated one day. Her mother even may die one day, but the life cannot stop for such feelings, and everything has to go on and on. That's all about the poem, and now you may try to attempt the questions. All the best.